Did you know that you could be making a classic dating mistake that is actually hurting your chances of finding true love? But no worries, I've got you. I'm here to help you. My name is Stacey Speller, and I am a relationship expert. I'm a life strategist. I help smart women just like you have the life and the love of your dreams. So be sure to subscribe to my channel so you'll get notified every time there's a new video. And if you like this video, give me the thumbs up so that I know you like it and I can create more content like this to help you out. So what is that mistake? It's the mistake of overgiving. You're doing the most. You're doing everything and he's not reciprocating. And here's the biggest problem with that. It never works in our favor. And ladies, we teach a man how to treat us. From the moment you say hello, you're teaching him how to treat you. And when you overgive, you're teaching him to want you for all the wrong reasons. You're teaching him to want you just because of what you'll do for him. And that is never, ever a good thing, because what ends up happening is you end up devaluing yourself in the process. And then by the time you get to me, I have clients, by the time they get to me, they've lost time. They could have invested a whole lot of time in the relationship. A lot of them have lost money because they were spending money and doing so many different things for them. You lose your dignity, and on top of all of that, you lose the relationship. And I want better for you, because I can tell you for a fact, when a woman devalues herself in a relationship and then the relationship ends, now you're trying to date from a devalued place. It's always going to be a disaster, because now it attacks your self-worth, it attacks your confidence, and I definitely want better for you. So I want to talk to you today about the first of all is why you do it, how you can recognize that you're doing it, and what you can do about it. So why do we do it? Well, I will tell you that there's any number of reasons, but all of them are based in fear. We're afraid of losing out on the opportunity to find love. So maybe he starts to pull away, or even when you just meet him and he's not seeming that interested, we're so afraid that we're going to lose love that we feel like now we have to start doing something. We have to start overgiving. We're initiating all the conversations. We're suggesting all the things to do. We're actually doing all of the work because we're so afraid that we may lose the love. And, that fear can come from any number of places, whether you've had a bad breakup, you've had a guy leave you. It could have happened years ago. For example, for me, in my case, I had a fear of losing love because my mother, when I was a young teenager, she just walked out on my twin brother and we didn't see her for over 25 years. She literally walked out of our lives. And the insecurity that it created in me and that fear of losing love, like you can have it and then you lose it. And so I constantly felt like I had to overgive and I had to do something, because if not, then I had such this overwhelming fear of losing love. So if you've got this dream of, you want to find a great guy, you want to find a partner, you want somebody you can build a life with, maybe you want to have a family, maybe you don't want to grow old alone, whatever that is, when there's a possibility that you're going to lose it, you feel like I've got to do something to salvage it. So typically when he starts to pull away or he's not seemingly as interested, then that's when you start doing all this overgiving and you're the one doing everything. And so I need you to be able to see it in yourself. And ladies, we have to be honest with ourselves. The only way we're going to actually find true love is when we peel back the layer and unravel the lies and things that we've been telling ourselves about what it takes to find true love and really see it for what it is. And so I need you to really take a look at it and say, okay, what am I so afraid of that I'm just doing so much that when you look at a text conversation, you've initiated all the text messages? Because when you start to figure out why you're doing it, it allows you to show up in a whole different way, and you don't feel this overwhelming need to let fear be what guides you. Because as long as you're being guided by that fear, it's never going to be enough. And then here's what happens. That wrong joker, it's so wrong, but he will take advantage of you. He'll leave you kind of on the back burner of his life. He won't make you a priority, but he won't totally say, hey, I'm not interested, and move on, because he likes what he gets out of this, whether you're giving him time and attention, or you're, doing things for him, like, oh, I can help with that, or oh, I can do that. I mean, I've had clients that have, gone and cleaned their house. They cook for him, they're intimate with, they're doing just everything that goes against what they want, that goes against their boundaries and everything else, just because they're so afraid of losing love, and they just keep over giving. So I want you to recognize that it's coming from a place of fear, and I want you to be sure that you deal with that fear. Now, if this is something you struggle with, I've got a free guide on my top 10 tips of what's keeping you single, and I really can kind of help you unpack that. So the link is here, and you can actually get that. I would definitely encourage you if you don't have that. So you need to recognize that you're doing it, and it's all based in fear. So how do you know that you're actually overgiving, that you're doing too much? Because you could be a very genuine, caring person. A lot of my clients are Christian women. It's like, hey, I'm just a nice person. This is just who I am. And that's all perfectly well. I want you to be that good, kind, giving, loving person. But the way you can tell that you're overgiving and teaching him that you don't value yourself and risk putting yourself in a position where now you're on a back burner of some man's life where he's not making you a priority. The main way you can tell that you're doing too much is deep down inside you're resentful. You're resentful because he doesn't ever initiate anything. He doesn't ever do anything to show you that he values you. He's not making you feel seen, heard, and valued. And you look at this, you look at every experience where, okay, I'm doing this because I'm afraid of losing the possibility of love. But you deep down inside, you just don't like it. But because you're so driven by the fear, you continue to do it anyway. You tolerate it. And you wish things were different. You're like, okay, well, how come he doesn't initiate anything? How come he's not making me a priority? He says, oh, I'll call you back, and he never calls back. Or he says, hey, let's get together, and then it ends up being a Netflix and chill, and he just wants a hookup. Like, he's not giving anything, and you're giving a lot, and deep down inside, you're feeling resentful. That's the main way that you can tell that, I'm overgiving in this situation. He is not reciprocating. I don't feel good about this. But again, I'm so afraid of the potential of losing out on this relationship. I'm so afraid of losing out that, I have to start all over again, trying to meet somebody, trying to, start forming a connection and attracting somebody, that you keep going and you keep going. And then here's another dreaded mistake that we make when it comes to overgiving. When we have that tendency to start overgiving, then we do it hoping that and thinking that if I can do enough, he's going to change. And that ends up setting you up for failure. And again, I don't want that for you ladies. I can't stress to you how important this is, because I've seen it so many times. I've seen the damage that it does. And these jokers who do this, they are wrong on every level, because they should just man up and tell you, hey, I'm not interested or whatever. But instead, they will just keep you hanging on just enough because they love what they're getting out of it. So I need you to recognize, do I deep down inside feel a little resentful? Like, hey, I'm not getting anything really out of this other than he keeps me on the back burner of his life, and I just wish things were different. Because when you're giving from that genuine place of, hey, I'm just giving because that's who I am, and you don't feel resentful and you feel really good about it, you're honest, you're a smart woman, you know what that actually feels like. Because here's another thing, when we have that tendency to overgive, even though we have the best of intentions because we want to find love, it can actually make you, it has its roots in being manipulative, because you're doing something to get something. You're not doing it from a genuine place. You're doing it like, okay, if I text him one more time, maybe he'll call me back. Or if I say something on his social media, or if I offer to take him to dinner, or if I, go against my boundary and I sleep with him, or whatever it is, you're doing something because you want something in return. You're not doing it just from that genuine place of, hey, I'm just doing this because this is who I am and it's just what I want to do. So I want you to pay attention to that. And again, I want you to get honest with yourself about that. And then the last thing I need you to know is, what can you do about it? Because if you found yourself in this position, don't worry, there's a remedy for it. And if you recognize the fear and you are feeling that sense of resentment, what you can do about it is, I want you to pull back. And I know it's easier said than done, but I want you to pull back, because when you pull back, it's going to reveal his real intentions. When you pull back, because a lot of times what makes us start leaning into this tendency to overgive is maybe he pulls back. But if you pull back, not emotionally, not spiritually, not mentally, but if you pull back from the doing, so whatever it is that you're doing a lot of, whether it's initiating conversation, whether it's being intimate and you really wanted to have some boundaries around that, whether it's, financially based, time based, whatever it is, just pull back. And as you pull back, I want you to note his reaction. Pay close attention. I mean, go microscopic, like, okay, let me see when I don't do all of these things, how does he treat me? How is he now responding to me? Because if he suddenly, wants to just go totally ghost, if he gets real quiet, or if he just completely kind of steps away, then you'll know he never had the right intentions anyway. If he says something, if he is a good guy and he kind of notices, like, hey, something happened, everything okay, then you can, kind of reestablish your boundaries and set yourself up more for success, where I'm not giving because I feel like I have to. You're comfortable in your skin, you're confident in your worth, and you recognize that you do not have to overgive. You want to be in a position to receive. It's actually feminine energy to receive. When we're having to do all this overgiving, we're doing more than even what we should have to do. So pull back a little bit and see how he responds. See what he does. And if he starts to step away, then unfortunately he's showing you who he really is, and your job is to believe him. And I want you to be encouraged, ladies, because when you pull back, if he does pull away, you're dodging a bullet. And the longer you stay and overgive, the more it devalues you, and the longer it keeps you from a guy that's God's best for your life. So I really want you to see this. Get honest with yourself, recognize the fear, make sure you're not becoming resentful, and then if these things are happening, I want you to pull back and let him value you for who you are, for the greatness that's inside of you. So again, be sure, leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you on this. Make sure you give this video the thumbs up, and if there's something else you want me to cover in a video, make sure you leave that in the comments as well. And if you do not have my free guide, I'm telling you, this free guide will really help you evaluate some things with your relationships. It's my top 10 tips of what's keeping you single. Again, I'd love to hear from you, and thanks so much for watching.